everyone, and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, with so many new civilizations, new technologies, new units, of course, yours truly had to pick a game with two civs who have basically remained untouched by the winds of change, as Hera, playing as the Britons in blue, gets ready to take on Mr. Yo, playing as the Hindustanis in red. Now, while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up, their furry little goat butts up, to the Feudal Age. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Britons, a civilization built around supporting its ranged units. Their archery ranges work faster, their foot archers, except for those poor skirmishers that always seem to be left out of certain upgrades, do come with free extra range in Castle, then even more free range in Imperial. Now, if that's not enough range for you, all of their foot archers can actually be upgraded to get even more range. All of this vitamin R is fantastic news for their unique unit, the Longbowman, a pretty decent foot archer that comes with a massive 12 whole tiles of range when fully upgraded. Now, speaking of range, Briton Trebs are also some of the most powerful in the game because they can be upgraded to not only do blast damage, but also have 100% accuracy against stationary, non-moving units, which basically means if you're on the opposite end of a Treb war with the Britons and they get Warwolf, which is the name of the technology I just mentioned, woe be to your villagers, because they are going to die as they repair your trebs. Now, speaking of war and dying and all that cool stuff, in order to support their military production, Britain town centers do cost 50% less wood whenever Hera decides to build a few more, if we're lucky enough for the game to go into Castle and Imperial. And their shepherds, where are you? There you go, hacking away at the goat. Their shepherds work 25% faster than normal. Now let's take a look at, speaking of magical villagers that have magical abilities, and in this particular case cost less, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let's take a look at Mr. Yo playing as the Hindustanis, a civilization that pushes its players into an army composition made up of both gunpowder and camel units. All Hindustani gunpowder units come with extra armor, and their hand cannoneers can actually be upgraded to get extra range, which used to be incredibly deadly now because infantry, and the Britons, speaking of infantry, do have a pretty pristine infantry line. Infantry, if you're not familiar, my brain is already running ahead of itself. Welcome back to Cast of Empires. Hand cannoneers come with a massive attack bonus against infantry, plus 10. And so the slower the infantry is, the better it is for the hand cannoneer. And so adding plus 2 range to a hand cannoneer gives it 9 tiles of range, which before the speed boost to the infantry line came into account, made them pretty damn deadly against any kind of infantry. But now that infantry does move faster, we'll see whether or not, number one, if Mr. Yo even gets this upgrade called Chattagny, and number two, we'll see if Hera then goes infantry. If he sees hand cannoneers, probably not, but we'll see if he does go infantry, how that new speed boost is going to interact with the 2 extra tiles of range. Because, of course, if you can close in on your enemy faster, you can kill your enemy faster. I guess that's a basic principle of warfare. Now, enough of my meandering aside. Let's get back to the Hindustanis, whose camels also come with a few cool features. To start with, they come with an attack bonus against buildings, which makes them pretty good at taking down structures, and does address one of my main issues with camels, which is, or rather camel units in this game, which is that they absolutely suck at destroying buildings. Second, Hindustani camel units do attack 20% faster, and they do have access to the Imperial Camel Rider. This is a fairly strong, very tanky, super fast upgraded version of the already awesome Heavy Camel Rider. Now, to defend their hand cannoneers from pesky ranged units that might want to snipe them, looking at you, Mr. Briton. Well, the Hindustanis can actually field a second unique unit, the Ghulam. This is an anti-archer infantry unit that moves quickly, has high amount of pierce armor, and attack bonus against archers, and whose spear can actually injure multiple units at once. So woe be to any archer units that are clumping against the Ghulam. Now, to support the quick production of their expensive units, because the Hindustanis are one of these civilizations that you do need a lot of gold for, their villagers do get progressively cheaper. As I was speaking in the beginning, magical abilities. One, I guess, harvests sheep and goats a little bit quicker. One comes in at a bit of a discount. And of course, because the developers can't make everything too easy for us, the discounts are 8, 13, 18, and then 23% cheaper in the Imperial Age. And pardon me, I just had to mute my mic to cough because I'm still not at 100%. We'll get into my my disappearance of 3 weeks, which I realize is not very good, in a second. But lastly, The one final point I do want to make about the Hindustanis as they fight back and poke the horse's ass here is their economy can be made incredibly efficient by increasing the speed of all of their gold income, which, by the way, does include relic income, and reducing their commodity trading fee at the same time from 30% to 10%, which does make it the second lowest in the game after, of course, the Saracens. Well, there you go. The Hindustanis, as I was wrapping up the introduction, do manage to get the first kill. Mr. Yo draws first blood. Hera's scout dies to the rear of the base. Let's actually see how much Hera has actually seen of the base. Not too much, has seen a bit of the rear end. And once these militiamen do upgrade to men-at-arms, you'll see their movement speed. Let me, if I can actually click on one, we'll jump from 0.9 to 0.96. So as I mentioned, Hindustani, Britain, not exactly two civilizations that got any kind of major rework directly, let's say, but indirectly, I feel like the Britons, because they do have such a good infantry line, will benefit. If you're not familiar with what the latest patch did, basically, aside from fiddling around with some scorpions, which now come with a higher attack bonus against infantry, infantry was made faster. Their upgrades, as they become more and more mature, all the way up to champion, I believe, have become cheaper. The upgrade time, research time, has become lower, and I believe the HP has also jumped up. So if we take a look, 0.96, very cool. We'll see. Everybody kind of wanted a buff to infantry for the longest of times, and the developers answered with buffing scorpions of all things by giving every single civilization the Roman treatment with ballistics. And then I think the community kind of said, WTF, guys, what is happening? We wanted these units buffed, not the units that kill these units. Oh, Mr. Yo traps it. I'm glad I kept the camera on here, although it looks like Hera has managed to get a kill on the other side of the map. Wow, trapped, but with no follow-up. There is nothing that Mr. Yo can do here. Now he puts that. Now, this archery range was here about 3 minutes ago. Maybe, oh, maybe one of these men-at-arms, maybe this spearman would be dead. But unfortunately, he did wall him in, but no real follow-up. So, you know, we've all been there. We've all been on that interview. We thought, oh, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And then we don't get it. We were on that date that we thought would lead to a second date, and then we thought we did so well, and then ultimately no second date is forthcoming. That's kind of what happened here. A little bit of a tease, let's call it that. Mr. Yo to the front with a scout, to the rear with 2 scouts. I mean, come on, this still hasn't been dealt with. The fact that you can just stack unit on unit, fat stacks of AOE units. And what do we have here? Still the same 3-1. Yeah, still the same 3-1. So Hera's not abandoning the forward position, realizing that, hey, Mr. Yo's not really doing much with his scouts. So I'm pretty sure I can defend this with a TC, with villagers and loom, and more importantly, 1 spearman. Decides to continue pressing his attack. I'm not sure if his units do have the high ground here. Looks like this stable with the horses' asses that are now on fire might be on the low ground, which explains why these 4 generally weak units. I mean, this building does have 1 melee armor. They do attack maximum on a 6. Managed to get it on fire so quickly. Now, I do apologize. You might hear a click here or there as the game goes on. I do have to keep drinking my tea and my water. I am still sick. It's been 2 weeks since I released my last video. Shame on me. No updates. I do apologize. I am still alive. I am still here and kicking, but I am still sick. So either you'll hear me gulping down some water, or you'll hear a click of my microphone being turned off, because I hate the sound of people drinking and eating right in my ears. So I'm going to try to spare you that as much as I possibly can. And so that you don't have to hear me drinking my my hot scalding? I always forget which one it is. I think scalding hot tea. In any event, tables have turned. It is now Hera who's retreated back to his base. Mr. Yo pressing the attack into 1 palisade that looks like it's being repaired. A very bobbing up and down villager. Ooh, 2 villagers. Where did you come from? I did not see the outline of the second one, and we were about to have ourselves a scuffle. But tell me if you agree, this doesn't really feel like a big Feudal Age investment or scuffle here by either players. I mean, Mr. Yo's army count is 50% higher, 12 to 8. Hera's resources do indicate that he wants to kind of get the Feudal Age over with, go up to the Castle Age. Mr. Yo has invested a lot of his food into scouts, but I suspect that now he's going up to 300 food or so. He also kind of wants to Feudal Age, I don't really need your 13% discount, developers. Give me that juicy 18% discount. Hera comes in. Hera gets shooed away by a few skirmishers. Not too sure why he's getting shooed away by a few skirmishers. They're not that scary against these men-at-arms who do have 1 pierce armor, but gonna try to finish the forage bush. The bush. Before he gets attacked into 23 food. Will he actually be able to finish? Probably not. Monsieur has racked up 3 kills. Hera's still sitting on that 1 now, defending with the bush pickers. They do have 7 food among them. Will he bust into here? And if he does, what will he be able to do? Get away from your own base, says Mr. Yo, as he continues to shoo away. Now, to be fair, this is probably why Hera is not engaging. If you look at the HP on the units, probably explains why the hell he is not that keen on taking a fight. But he brings his own food-intensive scouts. They pounce. And let's see who the hell comes out on top here. Well, Mr. Yo's not going to stick around to find out as he runs away with his last trio of scouts. Does manage to get the pro players, their ability to target and isolate the weaker units is always so impressive. Will the lion attack? No, he's too far away. Oh, but that lion's definitely going to attack. Nope. Not if the man-at-arms runs the other way. So, high desert pursuit into the 1 spearman. Hera will see probably turn around. No, never mind. Wrong call. Number 1 of the game. Hera does not turn around. Hera engages, gets the spearman. Probably will turn around now, no? Oh, a few free whacks off at that spearman. I'm not too sure Monsieur was paying attention here. But both players are heading up to castle. So I was right. Glad I could get, still after a few weeks of disappearance, be able to get a few things right about the game that they both kind of didn't really feel like a feudal age investment kind of game. And to be fair, Britons and Hindustanis in the feudal age, not exactly human excitement, you know what I mean? Let's get to the later stages of the game. Let's see longbows. Let's see shiitake hand cannoneers. Let's see, I mean, probably, who's kidding who? We're probably not going to get to see camels this game. Camels being pretty much a counter cavalry unit. And the Britons, as good as their infantry line is, their cavalry line is not the greatest. Let's put it like that. Hera, though, let's see. Too much conjecture from me. Too much prediction. Too much will he, won't he. Let's see what he actually does now that he hits the next age. And, I mean, the Britons don't really need 1,300 wood in order to plop down their TCs. Remember, in terms of wood costs, it's a BOGO. Buy one, get one free. And so these two cost 275 wood. And, sorry, what am I clicking at? That's a market. Yikes. There's your second TC that I should have been clicking on. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Hera, 0 villagers on stone, so no castle anytime soon. Mysterio has invested 3 stone, and now he's going to plop down a second TC. Can't really plop down a third until this one is complete and some villager. Maybe just take 1 villager and mine 3 stone so you can go up to another one. You do have 500 wood, which tells me you do want to go that route. And it is in fact our Hindustani who is going the light cavalry route right now. Hera also adding husbandry. Okay, well, there you go. I said we're not going to see cavalry out of our Briton, and of course our Briton starts adding cavalry upgrades. Although, will it be for the 4 units that he's already got on the map, or maybe not? The scouts versus light cav, not exactly a fight Hera wants to take, even with a TC to support them. Both players posturing, poking. Do they want to go up to Imperial? Like, now I'm getting the sense that they kind of just want to go up to Imperial. Will we see relic wars? Will Hera be able to get any more relics than Mr. Yo? Famous, notorious for his relic gatherings, and there's that 3rd TC for him as well next to the gold. Good locations for TCs for Mr. Yo in the forward position. Not that he really has much choice. Is the HP on his units really that bad that he's not taking a fight against scouts? 5 light cav against 4 scouts? What are we working with here in terms of HP? Yeah, look at Mr. Yo's army. HP much bigger. For the second time this game, though, his army just takes a few pokes and prods. Doesn't really fight back. Okay. Pacifist light cavalry. Hera has upgraded his scouts to light cav as well. And, of course, we'll start babysitting them, start healing them up. Mr. Yo, though, he's not done. He wants to get a sense of where is your stuff. And in Age of Empires, that stuff sometimes shoots arrows at you. Not exactly a Malian Tigui TC, but does fire arrows when garrisoned. And 3rd villager kill of the game for Mr. Yo, who has a 1 vill kill lead. Hera trying to block him out, but unfortunately not that quick on the draw. And so Mysterio will escape. Both players, I believe, have husbandry. As we saw, Hera definitely has it. So Mysterio should be safe and sound unless he, turns to the left, turns to the right a little bit too frequently. Hera on 3 TCs, Mysterio on 3 TCs, villager count identical, army count. Mysterio still ahead, but light cavalry. Ooh. New monk skins. Who dis? Beautiful. Beautiful monk skin. Wow, this game is getting real pretty. Now, those of you who've been following for a while, ooh, Briton monk, maybe with a new skin, you would have survived, but unfortunately, no, you get gunned down. Those of you who've been watching for a while know that one of the main things I love about this game is the graphics. I know there's games out there that are newer. The graphics are more three-dimensional. I love these kind of 2D. Even though they do have shadows, it kind of is there's a bit of a mix of 2D and 3D. Is this a gap, by the way? No. Another thing that those of you who've been watching the channel a long time know is that my ADHD is probably real bad as I comment on one thing and then immediately start commenting on another. I don't like in this game when monks can go inside TCs with relics. I don't like that mechanic at all, but Hera makes use of it. The monk pops in, the monk pops out. The graphics. And so new castle skins, although I assume the Britons are not going to have a new castle. Hindustanis might with 577 stone. We're about to find out. Monk skins, unique unit, elite version skins. I mean, this is going to make this game just, it's like graphics on steroids for those of us who enjoy a lion mauling a villager carrying a giant pickaxe. And Mr. Look at that. He doesn't even want to waste his villager's time. This guy bills out at $500 an hour. And so to have him kill a lion is a complete waste of his time and talents. And here we go. Castle drop right in Hera's face. Will he see? And if he does, how will he react? Now, it's a bit of an interesting stratagem to castle drop your opponent while at the exact same time shoving an army in so that your opponent looks at that exact direction. Bit of an odd choice here by Mysterio, but we'll see how it works out for him. It looks like Hera is also expanding out to the right side of the map with a few blue dots. I like that the gold patch has been laid. By the way, I haven't even looked at the gold patch. So no new castles. I believe this is... Ooh, actually, is this a new castle? It looks like it might have a new roof. Okay. Longbowman out here for Hera, giving us a good old-fashioned longbowman game. Who the hell doesn't love to see these badass units? Let's see if they've got yeoman. Yeah, I think they do, don't they? No. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Of course, they don't have yeoman. They just have that free +1 range. They could have yeoman. This is a super expensive upgrade that Hera can't afford right now. As he himself shoves in, looks like he's gotten a few villager kills for his part. We'll keep an eye on those scouts, see how well they can do over here. Hera with the counter castle. Mysterio retreats into the ether, into the darkness. I'm surprised that Hera continues to hound these units. These are not units, and now Gulams or Gelman, I forget exactly how to pronounce the plural of it, are out on the map. Hello, what is going on with Mysterio's army this game? They are just kind of standing still, hanging out. Now remember, not only does this unit have a good amount of pierce armor, not exactly Huskarl, Incan Eagle Warrior level armor, but it does have a good amount of pierce armor. It does come with an attack bonus against archers, +5, and it does have a blast radius or blast width of 1 whole tile. And so clumpy, bad, as I would say to my 2-year-old whenever I want to dumb things down so that he understands. Is this a new castle? I feel like the general shape is the same, but the roof is different. Or have I just been gone too long? Let me know in the comments below. For now, let's see what's going on around the map. As Hera with a very external TC gobbling up a few contested gold piles. As Mysterio gobbling up a bit of contested forest here. He does have 22 villagers on gold to Hera's 7. He is down 8 villagers on the whole, focusing his attention on the military push, which does mean Hera is clicking up and will be the first to hit the Imperial Age. So here we go. I said we're not going to see cavalry out of our Britain. We have literally seen non-stop cavalry. No double suicide. We've seen literally non-stop cavalry out of our Briton. I said we're probably not going to get to see camels. And immediately I pivot away and see 2 camels. Hera with a TC protected by a castle. Why over here? Why not on the high ground? Is he going to finish this? Ooh, photo finish. Let's see the elephants waddling forward too, but that's not going to help against villagers. What do we want to look at? The villagers or the castle? 99 point. F me. I mean, I'm trying to keep it PG-13, but F me royally. 99.6%. That is about as sour as you can get. And Hera says, I'm not going to take any risks. I'm going to shove in 10 more villagers into here. Okay, bye-bye lion. But a few of the villagers return home. A few villagers building a gate. And one villager just needs one more hammer strike. And boop, goes the castle. Kind of like reverse whack-a-mole. Now here we go. Let's see these Gelman, Gulams. Absolutely. Look how quick they just destroy archers. Again, not exactly Huskarl level anti-archer play, but much faster than a Huskarl with that blast damage, that multi-unit attack. But they may be overstaying their welcome here. Hera is so confident. He's even popping out villagers to mine gold, thinking that Mr. Yo might be looking in another part of the map, which is where Hera should be looking, because he just lost a bunch of longbowmen for nothing. Will the DC go down? Oh, this is... She has the worst job in the world. What is she even attacking on this elephant? What part of the elephant is she even stabbing? I do not want to know, as gross and fixated as I am here on that attack. Okay, so Hera has expanded eastward. Mr. Yo has expanded westward. Mr. still has a minute before he can get his own counter trebs. He is being spit roasted, DP'd here by a treb to the left, a treb to the right. The one on the right is at least on the high ground. And will the Gulams, what will they go after here? Monsieur's plopping down a whole bunch of infrastructure in front of his base, creating a bit of a buffer zone. I like that he got Hera's castle, so even if he loses his own, fair enough. All's fair in love and war. Will we see our first Hindustani longbowman? We should, right? No. The longwoman's friends join in on the fight, and that's it. Monsieur's attack is pretty much over. Let's see what he's building here. Just a bunch of houses. Are we gonna see cavalry? I mean, the Hindustanis do have hussars. Hera, unfortunately, as the Britons, does not have hussars. And I say unfortunately because I know how much Hera loves his hussars. Longbowmen again. If you're gonna start attacking and not paying attention, you're gonna need yeomen. You are gonna need that upgrade. Although bracer and chemistry with extra range and attack should be pretty useful as well. Monsieur hits Imperial. Not really much ado-in because he doesn't have the ability to train counter trebs just yet. Well, I guess he does now. I was looking at his gold patch a while ago. Conscription, Gulam. So it's going to be Gulams. Now, if he's going to go Gulams, are we going to... I was about to ask, are we going to get to see Briton infantry? Which, again, indirectly benefits. I guess I should say pretty much directly benefits. Although no, it's not directly benefits. It's not a like a Britain specific upgrade. Somehow this elephant went down, and now this villager has the worst job in the world of poking the elephant's ass. How the hell did Hera save that mangonel? You might ask yourself. Well, he is the current best player in the world, and so obviously saved that mangonel. A whole bunch of dead elephants here, a whole bunch of dead villagers. But they are blue villagers, and so Hera is losing out on some expansion and some vision here, not really being able to complete the project. He is forward loading, front loading, let's say, his barracks, while Mr. Yo is front loading castles and stables. But stables, now that he's up to 14 light cav, not a whole bunch being trained out of them. Now, unlike Eagle Warriors, and my mind goes to Eagle Warriors because these units are pretty fast, standard infantry does not come with any kind of attack against Gulams. And so these Gulams are going to be real deadly unless Hera can continue upgrading to champions. Because let's compare them side by side. Gulams more HP, currently higher attack. No base melee armor though. That's not good. Monsieur, I could have sworn, was building a castle up here, but replaces it in a more defensive position. His castle days are not over yet. A dozen villagers. So Mr. Yo wants to build a massive army. I know that. I suspect that. I shouldn't say I know that. I suspect that because his Ghulams are not really engaging. And here we go. Elite Ghulam skins. Look at their fancy bronze armor. Where's that gold? Damn. Okay. Well, the Unsullied got a little bit of a visual upgrade. Oh, Mr. Yo, fantastic split right up until he unsplit. These look like the Unsullied, right? These units. Hera bombarding the castle from the high ground. Unfortunately, his Trebs do fall. Gelman, Ghulams, whatever the hell you want to call them, are running amok now. Looks like Mr. Yo is also attacking to the back with Hussars. He's attacking to the back with Hussars. Hera is getting Hera'd here. But he does have 127 villagers, even though that's less than his opponent. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 4 attacks. Now, to be fair, this TC was softened up. It's like a pickle jar, you know. Your girlfriend, your wife asks you to open up a pickle jar, and then you open it, and they say, oh, I eased it up for you. I softened it up for you. So the elephant and the Ghulams did soften that one up. This one was falling in the blink of an eye as well. Oh my goodness. As much as the longbowmen do want to help here, there is not much they can do against 8 pierce armor, even though they are fully upgraded. Well, they're not elite, but they're fully upgraded for regulars at a 10 attack. He's prioritizing Warwolf as opposed to the elite longbowman upgrade. Okay. Hera with 0 trebs. Now, Mr. Yo is on the low ground. He is fighting uphill. And Hera has about a bazillion villagers here repairing this castle right next to the stone patch. So he can do as much damage as he wants. I don't even think Mr. Yo needs this fancy footwork. Let's see. The Briton high ground champion. Only with forging, though. Only with forging and only 1 melee armor. So Hera went cavalry. Then Hera went archers. Now Hera's going infantry. Too many changes. You are not the Chinese. You do not get any tech discounts. You have to pay full price for all of this. And down goes that high ground castle. And now the Hussars are swarming. Now, to be fair, champions are anti-Hussar, anti-trash unit, to be fair. Although these are not your Armenian champions with 100 HP. And so we'll see how far the Hussars get. Oh, that's so sour. Hera invests so much. Look at the cost of that upgrade into Warwolf, only to have his 2 Warwolves Trebs demolished by the Ghulams and then by the Hussars following up. And another Briton castle falls. Hera's down to 113 villagers. Mr. Yo's 25 villas ahead. I'm not too sure he really needs to be at 140 villagers. But amidst the rubble here, we have what looks like a very bad engagement for Hera. His units might be stronger 1v1, I'm not sure, but at least champion versus Ghulam should be. And that's it. A terrible, terrible engagement here amidst the rubble, and at the same time, oh, this is it. There's your nail in the coffin. There's your straw that broke the Briton camel's back. So to be fair, we didn't really see that many camels. And I do want to click one, and then I want to click another. Is there even a live? Is there a live champion somewhere? There we go. So Elite Ghulam base attack of an 11 versus 14. And to be fair, Hera does not have anything beyond forging. So they do both attack on a 15. They both do have 70 HP. Hera's unit does have 1 extra melee armor. So look at the speed difference, though. And attack speed, the Ghulam should be the same too, right? So everything is pretty much equal here, except Hera has 1 more melee armor. So we're actually, I mean, technically Hera does have the better unit, but on a 1v1, I'm not sure if that 1 extra melee armor does have any kind of impact. They both probably need the exact number of whacks to kill one another. Unfortunately, Hera's attempt to expand out into the center to stop, more importantly, Mr. Yo's expansion into the center has not succeeded. That castle he placed down to protect the siege workshop, which protected the town center, is now gone. Mr. Yo is going to teeth that gold. And more importantly, Mr. Yo, throughout the game, even though I have not pointed it out, 108 villager kills. Yikes. That is tough to come back from, especially if you're, I mean, to be fair, champions are now cheaper, right? They're not 60 food anymore. Now they're 50 food, even though they got rid of the discount. They are now 50 food. So that being said, you still need food. You are not, wink, wink, the Hindustanis, who pay 23% less for your villagers. And so Hera had to replace 108 villagers, which is basically 5,000 food. And 5,000 food can pay for a lot of the Briton war machine, even though, again, as a ranged archer civilization, they're mostly wood dependent. 114 Gulams, 85 Hussar. Yeah, the numbers are just not working out here for Hera. Mr. Yo keeping up the pressure from, let's say, late feudal, when his army basically got stuck here and he ran away. Mr. Yo has been putting on some good amount of pressure with that follow-up castle. The proxy siege workshop didn't really do too much. His castle went down, Hera's castle went down, but he did force Hera to react. And while he was doing that, both players expanded into their center. What a great play out of Hera, going champions. And unfortunately, you are going against a civilization that, again, has Chattagony, which means that hand cannoneers, although to be fair, how many? Just one archery range. So not exactly going to see hand cannoneers anytime soon. Especially, I don't think he even has chemistry. No. So, Mr. Yo, I didn't have any of that in mind. It was just brute force melee. Just Gulam in their fancy new armor, which... Is it bronze? It's I don't know. I don't know what armor is made out of. I am pretty much a yuppie, and so I don't really know exactly what the materials are. But it looks pretty golden, looks pretty coppery, bronzy. I don't know. Somebody in the comments will know what it's made out of. 81 champions, 114 Gelman, Gulams, 57 longbowmen. That's pretty cool to see. Unfortunately, Hussars fully upgraded. Just Mysterio's upgrades are just more targeted towards the units that he wanted to make. Whereas Hera's are not. I don't know. I'm highlighting the units. Yeah, he's only got forging. He's only got the second armor upgrade. What he does have is full attack upgrades on his units, his ranged units. But those ranged units themselves, where are they? They're not even fully upgraded. They're just basic longbowmen. No yeoman, no elite, which means they're stuck at 10 range. Let's take a look at the economies. Hera with his usual PKPM 2 to 300. Mr. Yo, right towards the end of the game, playing a bit of a more relaxed game than his opponent. Economy is about 10% apart. Relic gold identical. Mysterio did manage to eke out one extra relic. Did he get, I think I did see that he got, there we go, Grand Trunk Road. So commodity trading fee for the market reduced to 10%, and all gold income, including relics, boosted by 10%, which means he has, ooh, look at that, about 4,000 more gold. Now, the Britons not exactly a gold-intensive civilization. They're not super expensive, but the Hindustanis are, so for Mr. Yo's sake, good for him. Stone, basically identical. Wood, basically identical. A little bit extra food for a Hindustani as well. Conversions, despite all those monks and all the healing and all the attempted conversions, that's funny. 0-0, 12 raisings to 6, although it looks like both players got a bit of a friendly fire, and let's friendly fire raise. 250 kills to 181. So on the whole, Hera did kill more army, but Hera lost more villagers. And he is now being raided with a base that is pretty much open to the south, pretty much open to the north. I'm surprised Monsieur didn't shove anything into here, even though he might be afraid of a castle. Not exactly Turkish hussars that come with free extra pierce armor, but he shoves them in at the right place at the right time over and over again and kills 108 villagers while at the same time taking firm dominant control. Now the castle's on the high ground. I'm not so sure if this is a new castle. I don't think it is. I suspect it's just been gone and haven't seen the Hindustanis for a while, that I think this onion dome is a different onion dome that it used to be. But okay, well, there you go. I picked two civilizations that have had no changes to them, except the infantry change that indirectly affected the Britons. And well, there you go. I hope to be back in a day or two. Again, I do apologize. You might hear some clicking and some raspy, dry voice because I am still a little bit sick. And man, oh man, I thought having one toddler was going to make me sick, but having a toddler and a baby, yeah, that's just a sickness to the power of a sickness. So yours truly is still not at 100%, as I'm sure you can tell from my voice, but I'm glad to be back, glad to be casting this game, glad to have seen an epic battle here between Briton infantry powered by their longbowmen, backed up by their longbowmen friends, taking on the Gulam, which, to be fair, as an infantry unit, attacks pretty weakly. 11 base attack. Now, if Hera had focused his upgrades, maybe these champions could have killed the Gulams a lot quicker. They were on the high ground. They did have a castle to support them, but that is neither here nor there. Amidst the rubble, it is Mr. Yo, our Hindustani in red, who takes it, but GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.